Alright then, hello everyone and welcome to the third round of the NEF1 Season 10 Championship, and it's a very bright and sunny day here at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami for what I believe is the fourth Miami Grand Prix in NEF1 and the first one on F125, where the track should be significantly more grippy than it has been before. Short qualifying format, 17 drivers on the grid, 18 minutes worth of qualifying, no one out yet, but there is a chance of rain in the Grand Prix. According to reports we are now getting, we might have the first case of rain this season here in Miami. So that would be quite something. Slim chance, according to our reports, but there's a chance nevertheless. I would like to apologize to everyone watching the intro screen as well. I did get a bit of information wrong. It says number 77 won the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix on the first intro screen. I got that wrong. That's Tess's number. The driver that actually won that race is on check number 15, so that'll be updated for next week. Thank you, Tess, for pointing that out, and it was not to throw it in your face, I can promise you that. Here we go then, drivers are heading out onto the circuit. Matty, heartbroken after last week's result in Saudi Arabia, where he could have won that race had it not been for maybe the most unfortunate incident in any F1 history, but onwards and upwards. Mr. Wilco's had a very strong start to the season, very much in contention for good championship points here this week as well. So, we will see how he does now at a Miami track, which is quite significantly different from a circuit that we raced before this season. So wait and see. Bahrain, very slow and technical, couple of fast corners, but then obviously a very fast Saudi Arabia circuit following that. Let me know the stream quality is decent as well. It seems to be absolutely awful for me for whatever reason, but I don't know why. Hopefully that's just an issue on my end then, and no one else is affected. I have tried a couple of things with stream quality for this week as well, but if they pay off, I do not yet know. So then, as we're on board with Matty Adam, who's coming around the final couple of corners. Who's the first one that's going to be starting a lap? I believe it's it's Makis. Going to be the first one to cross the line to start a flying lap here around Miami. So breaking into the first corner, you can get on the power a little bit earlier now than you could last year out, but you can't get on it straight away regardless. So into the S's then, where it's almost flat for this first left-hander. Just changed down a gear, and now comes the most difficult braking zone onto the circuit. Go down to third gear for this left-hander. It's so easy to go deep, as Makis just did. The car just will not turn upon command. So then Makis onto the isn't straight, down towards the very slow and technical bit, where a wall's been implemented for this season that I reckon is going to catch one or two drivers out. We'll see if that is the case. So, and I'm going to point that wall out to you as well. It's a wall here on the outside of the circuit, just before the chicane, man. Didn't used to be there. You could open up that corner a little bit more. Now, if you do that, you could potentially find yourself out of the race. Makis down the back straight, purple in sector 1, purple in sector 2, but he's the first one to cross it. But a lot of cars now out on flying laps. We're just going to finish up this one with Makis, and then go on board with, I believe, Mr. Wilco would be the ass coming up to the line. So then, it's a benchmark time of a 128.385 for Makis. We've got a McLaren coming up behind later. That's a BT, followed by the two Saubers and an Alpine. So start off with Mr. Wilco. Outqualifies Makis by a significant amount. BT, will he be able to jump into first? No, just misses out. Luna goes faster than anyone, 27.3, and Matty, 26.827. Where's his teammate? He's just coming around the final bend now, as Reina's done well to outqualify his teammate. 27 flat for the Sauber. Sauber that's really gonna going this season now, and Ray slots into P5 for the time being. As one of the two Ferraris out on sector, it's SFLYJ, Martin Holman pops into P2, a thousandth of a second ahead of Reina. It's very, very close, and Djokovic, faster than anyone, 26-7. Djokovic here in the third round of the championship, still looking for his first point of the season after double DNF in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. Williams looking for their first point of the season as well. Wigan having a difficult start to his campaign simultaneously. Here we go then. Tess, the current championship leader after last week's results then, meaning he claims the lead of the Drivers' Championship over Squidge and Ondrejek, who's currently sitting in P2 after a strong win out in Saudi Arabia. Tess Van, one of just a simple few mistakes last season out, came here at the Miami circuit. Still got a decent result, but he'll be aiming to keep it absolutely mistake-free for this iteration of the Grand Prix then, and to just solidify his championship hopes. But right now, he's a commanding lead in the championship already, about 10 points or so, but just keeping it consistent through the first 2 weeks. And now then, coming around the final couple of bends, flat out to the line. Is he going to be able to go fastest? Yes, he is, by 0.4 of a second over Djokovic. That's a statement. Now it is up for the two-time pollster this season to respond. Squidge has been really, really good in qualifying so far. See how that translates over to Miami. And as for Tessa's teammate, we're on board with him right now. As Iwatts jumps into 7th on the order, a second slower than his team. That's a really good time from Iwatts. That go ahead of Mr. Wilco, Ray, and Wigan. Good company, that. That's a good result for Iwatts if he can keep that going. So then, here we go with Noah's coming around Sector 1 at the moment. Asvan now coming into the tricky bit where you got to keep it very, very tight to the wall. Open it up on the exit. Not like that for Noah. He does well to actually keep it out of the wall quite heavily there. But yellow flags coming up for the Mercedes. I believe it will be a Mercedes on a slow lap. Noah then into the wall. The first one to do so. Just loosen it on the exit. And that is going to be lap and run potentially over for Noah 48. As for Squidge then, this will be something to behold. So 29.404 for the fast sector. Not brilliant, a bit slower than what Noah was doing. So he'll need to find a bit of time through that second sector. He's getting a little bit of a tow from the Red Bull ahead of him before braking for the left-hander. Now then, that's solid on the exit. Up to 4th gear, then quickly down to 3rd, and that's front wing surely gone. No, somehow survived that. I don't know if that was maybe just a slight wheel bump that I missed, but it sounded aggressive. You'll hear that back on stream, I'm quite sure. I was sure that was front wing gone. But Squidge getting away with just a bit of contact there. And now then for the final few bends. Is he going to be able to upset Tess in P1? Yes, he is. By a little over 1/10 of a second, Squidge goes up into P1. He is the man to beat in qualifying so far this season. Squidge, Tess and Djokovic is your top 3. Matty and Holman, top 5. 6 different teams inside the top 6 at the moment. 7 inside the top 10. Stuff we like to see. As on board at the moment with Kit as well. Hopefully he'll be a completely new driver in that Red Bull now, because he switched over, from what I'm understanding, from a pad to a wheel. So hopefully that just yields a bit in terms of performance. Is that performance going to come straight off the bat? I'd be surprised if it does, but I'd be glad if it does. But expect to see Kit just start making those steady steps forward to get into the points regularly. We'll wait and see. But Kit here, just lose it a little bit at the same place when Noah did. So that's going to be one of the tricky places for the drivers to navigate. As Darren Van back from a 1 week absence now in the McLaren for the second time this season. On the back straight and coming up to the most difficult part of the track. I feel like I'm going to say that quite a fair few couple of times. So down into the tricky sector 2. Taking it very, very easy. Up to 4th, then down to 2nd for the chicane. Not eking with confidence. The car looks like it's quite happy to just step out on you. But here we go then, down the back straight. How quick is that McLaren in a straight line? Pretty damn fast. That's just a little scrape of the wall, and Darren Starr's going to come across the line. It's going to be a 28.29.2. Needs to improve by a second to improve position. Marcus has not had a brilliant start to qualifying. Down in 14th, Beatty 13th place. Noah now on an absolutely crucial run for him. Needs to get this right or he'll be way behind for the 3rd run with pressure on. This is a circuit where overtaking is definitely doable. But you don't want to be starting too far back, especially as RB right now, Racing Bull, sorry, I believe is leading the Constructors' Championship. And we'll have a look at those graphics a little bit later on, middle of, in between qualifying and the race. But Racing Bull's right now in a very, very good position points-wise. So no one needs to keep that up now with his teammate sadly missing for this week. It's a good run through Sector 2 for Noah, who's just now getting on the throttle and onto the back straight, and he's a 101.789 through the 2nd sector. As Tess has been able to get back into P1 to 25.899, so just breaking in to the 25.8 by a thousandth of a second there. We'll see how Squid responds to that. And Noah goes into P7 with his attempt about a second behind Tess at 26.970. Just behind Matty, just ahead of Wilco. As for Kit, he's on an out lap at the moment. Max is on a fast lap and not improving. Ray is not improving. Wiggins coming into the pit lane. Noah has nothing's going on. Crike's sake. Nothing interesting whatsoever is happening right now, but it's going to allow us to go on board with Kit. So then as Kit W41 just now getting out of the final corner and to start his 2nd run, hopefully the first successful one. And it's steady for the first sector, 29.994 through sector 1 is a decent sector time. See how he is through sector 2. It's there we can really make or break a lap. Obviously gotta hook up the 1st and 2nd phase of the lap, or sorry, 1st and 3rd phase of the lap as well. But there's a lot of time to be found around these couple of corners. It's just going through. Now it all got loose from him, and it does so again. It's not a car that is well optimized for those sets of corners, let me tell you. Now having to get out of the way of an Aston Martin as well as that Mac is coming through. Yes, it is, who's improving by half a second. go then. Mac is across the line. What is he going to be able to do? P13 right now. Difficult session for Macus. Not really getting going. Squidge is going to leave this to one run at the end. Whilst Djokovic is out quite early, just getting that track position as people are starting to come out now. And whilst this is going on, J-Mar's having to navigate the traffic relatively early on. From the sound, he's given up on this lap. So J-Mar, I would assume, was interrupted somehow in turn 1. We'll have a look at that after the session, I'm sure. So he's not going to be overly thrilled about it. Hopefully he is fueled for a second run. But onwards then to Macus, who should be coming in at the end of this lap, unless he's fueled for 2 laps. We'll see if he's recharging his battery, maybe going again. Keep our eyes on that. Other than that, most people now out of the pit lane onto the track. Holman is just now coming onto the track, actually. Say BT coming out late. Darren Stahl just being carried into the pit lane, so it's last we'll see of him. BT's going to be pressed for time to make it around here, especially if he has to budge for anyone during this lap. Whilst this is going on, Djokovic now on a fast lap. He's improving by about a tenth of a second in Sector 1. There's a lot of ground to make up to the absolute front runners. There we go then, very, very fast into the braking zone, to the left-hander, into the fast and tricky bit. Gotta carry quite a bit of speed through this right-hander, keep it very nice on the exit, but Djokovic hasn't. He has time to charge up his batteries and go again, though, if he's fueled for it. But that has compromised Djokovic's lap, and Reina has completed a very decent lap to get up to P3 at 26.528, putting further pressure on Djokovic now, who hopefully gets across the line, but I can't see the timer at the moment, which is really bugging me. Yellow flags everywhere. Whilst this is going on, the 2 guys in P1 and P2 have just started their flying laps. Matty's out as well. Holman has 18 seconds to get out, to get around the final corner and onto the back straight. And is he going to make it? It's going to be close, but he's just going to be able to get that done in behind a Red Bull as well. So everyone getting across the line, but in a lot of traffic now, in a situation where most people don't have to budge, don't expect, but well, the checkered flag has dropped then, and now these are the final runs. Matty Adam 98 be itching to make an impression after last week out. Nailed the chicane, absolutely gorgeous in a nice green helmet by all things as well, and improving by about 2/10 of a sector. 2/10 of a second through Sector 2, just combining messages a bit there. And now just a couple of bends to go. One final braking zone that you need to nail, one acceleration zone. And Matty hasn't. He's gone under power just a bit too early, and that could have cost him. We'll see. Coming across the line, what is it going to be? It's going to be not an improvement. Matty stays P6. Wilco up to 4th place. Brilliant lap. Here comes Squidge across the line. Tess has improved. Is Squidge going to be enough for pole position? No, he's not, and by a significant amount, Tess takes pole position of the Miami Grand Prix. Djokovic wasn't able to get the lap in. Holman has invalidated. Iwatts is not going to be improving on this run. BT might be, but it's going to be tricky for him. Potentially we'll wait and see. He's going to be improving his BT, but how much? Goes up to 13th place. Kit is going to be final across the line, but his lap is not going to count for much. He's had some sort of issue in this lap as well, and he's going to come home to finish a lonely P17. Tesvan takes his first pole position of the season by a significant margin, over 0.3 of a second on Squidge, and Reina in 3rd. Wilco in 4th. Just brilliant start to the season for Mr. Wilco. Djokovic in 5th, Holman in 6th, followed by Matt in 7th, Ray in 8th, Noah in 9th, and Wigan making the top 10 there by 0.2 of a second over Luna. So then, there we go. Qualifying is done, and Tess takes it by 0.340 of a second over Squidge. That's an impressive gap. Out qualifying, maybe the best qualifier in the league at a track where Tess has struggled in the past. And Marina Van in third, in Vat Sauber, the Haas of Mr. Wilco in fourth, and Djokovic in fifth. A very, very interesting top tennis hybrid has been able to get into this session now as well. So we'll have two guys racing who didn't qualify. Hybrid, I have seen the message in chat as well. Really do hope you're okay, buddy. Really do hope you're okay, and it is good to have you back. So worth pointing out is both Hybrid and Recon will be taking part in this Grand Prix, however not qualifying. We'll be going to a little bit of a break before we get the race underway, so just stay tuned, because we'll be back in about 5 minutes time for the Grand Prix. The Miami Grand Prix is coming up. Will be just a little bit of time. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Alright then, so we are back, and it's just going to be a little bit of time before we get this show started. But I was thinking before we get things underway, we're going to go through the drivers and constructor standings together. So we'll be bringing them up on your screen in front of you now. Tess leads the championship on 36 points, 200 checks, 33, and Squidge is 29, all to play for really. With Reina on 20 and Noah on 18 points. Mr. Wilco in 6th, Recon in 7th, Matty in 8th, Holman in 9th, and Macus in 10th place there. Samo having a difficult start to the season, along with Jamer, maybe Iwatts in that category as well. Going on to the constructors, most teams have scored now. Three teams need a good result tonight. They're all represented here on the grid today, thankfully. So we'll see what they can do. Williams, McLaren and Red Bull urgent need of points before they get left behind. Racing Bulls lead by 14 points of Mercedes, AMG and Scuderia Ferrari, sitting there in third. A bit bigger of a gap, but everything is still to play for. So then, I can announce to everybody that we are getting underway. So the race will start in 30 seconds time for the Miami Grand Prix. Miami Grand Prix, that from what I'm hearing, is going to be covered in rain by the time we are finished with it. Let's just hope that that is the case for a really exciting Miami Grand Prix. And usually rains around this place when we visit. Let's hope tonight's no different, because it does make for a very, very exciting Grand Prix for sure. And so then, rain towards the end or middle of the race could bring some interesting strategies forward. So we're going to see, but most everyone apart from Squidge and Jamar, opting to start on medium tyres. I would assume then the Ferraris are going to try to hold on until that rain comes, and then do a sneaky little switch over to intermediate tyres. We'll wait and see. Everyone else starting this race on mediums. That is Tess, your championship leader, and Reina sitting in P3, medium tyres. Wilco, medium tyres, and Djokovic, medium tyres. Towards the rear now, we have Recon and Kit as well, P17 and P18. They are both running the medium tyres. So here we go, then 18 cars on the grid. Tess, followed by Squidge and Reina, Mr. Wilco and Djokovic, with Holman, Matty, Ray, Noah and Wigan making up the top 10. Luna just finishing outside, Iwat in P12, beating 13th. Those two in particular will aim for a strong result here. Mac is in 14th, Jamar in 15th, needs to climb a lot of positions this Grand Prix to keep Ferrari in the championship hunt. Darren Stahl in the McLaren, Kit in the Red Bull, a bit of pressure on for him, along with Recon and the Haas. A lot of ground to make up on his teammate for this week. As thank you very much, SLH188440 Raid as well. Welcome to everyone watching. Hopefully you're enjoying this. We are just about to get the third round of the Season 10 NEF1 Esports Championship on the go. Miami Grand Prix, rain forecast towards the end. Round 3 of the championship, then everything is still to play for. Your championship leaders lining it up on pole position, the challengers alongside him. And Reina in third, Wilco in fourth, Djokovic in fifth, sorry. Let's get this show underway. Everyone's parked up on the grid in just a moment. I'll be set to go. Alright then, so there we go. We are just waiting for those lights to come out. Tess is angled towards the inside to cover off Squidge on the start. We have 5 red lights, and it is lights on. Away we go. Squidge gets away well, but so does Tess. He's going to be able to challenge into P1. It's car stationary on the back of the grid, but Squidge has the inside, makes contact with Tess, who almost goes off track, but he just manages to recover. Side by side. And Squidge losing out here on the start. Tess holds the position over on Reina there as well. And Wiggins got an awful getaway for whatever reason. Something went wrong there with Darren Stahl. We'll have a look at that later, I'm sure. But what a start from Tess and Reina and Squidge. Squidge will be fuming, losing out of position this early onto a Sauber. Can't let Tess disappear two-way down the road as Djokovic pulls towards the inside of Holman now. Desperate to get by as well. Djokovic still hunting for his first points in this championship though. Can't afford any damage. Can't afford another DNF. The three-time NEF1 champion still hunting for his first points this season. Matty running in 6th. Wilco losing a couple of positions on start as well. But now everything is calming down. as Mr. Wilco pulls out a slipstream there to maybe have a little look at Matty Adams. Not going to happen. However, Ray has a little look on the inside of Mr. Wilco, who goes deep, and that's going to allow Luna to go by as well. Is he going to be able to defend from Noah, though? Yes, he is, and still very much on the back. And now we have a full course, or is it a virtual safety car? I believe it's a virtual safety car, and a 10-second time penalty for Mac is for a severe collision, and Darren, 10-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Race has gone from bad to worse. Some sort of issue for Kit, but I don't know what has gone on. But Kit is out of this race. You would imagine terminal damage may be a problem heading into the last couple of corners. He had a dreadful qualifying session, not being able to hook it up, and Kit now becomes the first retiree of this race. Virtual safety car out then, not a full one, so this is just going to neutralize things a little bit, but it's not going to bring anyone together. I'm sure Darren wouldn't have minded a full safety car at this point, because he is far, far behind the rest of the pack. What this is going to do is just calm things down a little bit for the medium runners, to maybe allow them to take their tyres further into the Grand Prix, and maybe towards that forecasted rain. Green flags, DRS is enabled now then, and Squidge immediately starts having a little go at Reina to try to catch him just a bit off guard, but that wasn't going to happen on this restart. So then, Tess, Reina, Squidge, Holman, Djokovic is your top 5, as Hybrid has left this session unrelated to the race at hand. But here we go then, it's a big train following each other like a snake through the last couple of meters towards the braking zone, as Reina goes for the lead of the Grand Prix, maybe for the first time in his NEF1 tenure. Has the inside on Tess, who needs to give just a little bit of space towards the inside. Reina now with the better line, heading into the braking zone off turn 1. Is he going to be able to pull that move off and put in Sauber into P1? No, not quite. Just has to back out, and Tess holds position. But Reina well and truly on the back of that Mercedes. Now he needs to be able to just get by, see what he can make of this race. But Reina with superb race pace. Just a mistake there though, and is that going to allow Squidge potentially on the hard tyres to just have a little look maybe on the next straight. Still within DRS range. It all comes down to the exit onto the back straight. And Tess is now disappearing a little bit further down the road. I believe Squidge is going to have this covered relatively easily. Yeah, no DRS for Reina, curiously enough. I don't quite understand why. But Squidge then moves up into P2 and is now free to chase after the leader. That is Tess and Squidge once again here, followed by Reina, Holman, and Matt is going to pass Djokovic for P5. So Matt is making progress now on his mediums. Can't take too much life out of him though, without compromising the rest of the Grand Prix, or they'll have to make a pit stop regardless before that rain starts falling. But the track is clouding up, and Squidge is edging ever closer to Tess. It's getting ever closer, and maybe a little move into turn 1, but I think he's just too far back for it. Squidge is going to be very, very happy to play this the long game. Squidge, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Not unexpected at this stage, and I believe those hards might just start working a bit better than the mediums already, as Holman gets by Reina coming out of turn 1 and 2 there. Nice little nifty move. And Mac's race goes from bad to worse, 10-second time penalty, speeding in the pit lane. So it's a dreadful race for 10-second time penalties so far. It doesn't really seem to be going the way of a couple of drivers. That's Macinus and Darren Style both having had issues with them. Darren just now coming round the final corner, and he's quite far behind the rest of the pack, let's just say that. Here comes Squidge. Tess moves towards the outside. Squidge not close enough on this go, but he'll be very, very close towards the final braking zone, towards the final corner. So then needs to maintain a healthy gap through this hairpin then. Nice and early on the power. Tess has not kept it 100% clean, but he's gotten a good getaway for Squidge. Very much within slipstream, very much within DRS range, and Tess goes defensive already. Usually a sign of things to come. Just trying to break the toe, but Squidge gonna have the outside for the braking zone. Not gonna be able to work anything of it. Tries to send Tess wide. But Tess is so good at covering that little angle off. But is it going to come down to turn 1 then? Tess just has enough to power through, and Squidge can't do anything about that lead for the time being. Tess defending admirably here, and it's not going to be as easy to overtake as I maybe thought it was going to be. It's very, very interesting. It's a long, long train, spanning from first, I believe, all the way down to 12th place right now. All covered within that 1 second gap in the DRS slot, and Marina just now breaking toe, maybe on Holman. Here we go then, second go at it for Squidge 2017 to have a go at the leader of the race. And he is closing and closing. This time there might not be too much Tess can do. Pulls out towards the outside. Is he going to send Tess wide? No, Tess holds line. The Squidge just tries to come back at him now. Around the outside of this sweeping right hand is not ever going to work. And it's on to the next one. Squidge makes contact with the wall. And is that any damage to his front wing? No, but it could knock a bit of confidence out. And it's definitely built a bit of a gap. 7.5 tenths of a second coming out of Sector 2. And that was something that Squidge definitely did not need to do at this stage of the Grand Prix. Just knock your confidence a bit, touching that wall. Now is the question. Tess got a really good getaway off this final corner the last time around. Is Squidge going to be able to challenge him on this occasion? Tess he's got a good drive coming out of the final corner, and there's nothing really you could do to challenge him. I'm not seeing the opening of any rear wings there though. I don't know if it's just me yeah, there I saw a rear wing open, thankfully. But I didn't see a rear wing open on Squidge. Is that just a sign that he's not maybe interested in overtaking at that point of the circuit? Is that why it appears that Tess has that good a drive coming out of the turn? It could be. The battle at the front goes on then. Tess, Squidge and Holman very much involved in that as well. And look at the closing speed now. Squidge taking out a lot of time on Tess here on the straight. Tess covers the inside. Squidge not really going for anything crazy, but now Tess just outbraking himself a little bit. Slight bit of input lag there, what I can see. And now heading towards the chicane, getting so close to the wall for Squidge 2017 there. Through the hairpin, needs to get a good drive at it, but we could be looking at a new race leader following the exit of this turn. Squidge closer now than it's been before. Covered it to get the inside line, and Tess leaves that inside wide open. Is he expecting not to put up too much of a defense on this one? Don't think he is. With that move then, Squidge takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Is Tess going to fight this back heading into turn 1? Rear wing open on the Mercedes, but he's not going to be able to do anything about it into turn 1. Squidge has to lead the race then on laps 7 out of 29 from Tess, Holman and Marina and Matty Adams, still running within the DRS range of each other, with Djokovic just behind Matty now by 2 tenths of a second, and Matty's not got a good exit coming out of turn 1. That's going to allow Djokovic to maybe have a cheeky little go down the back straight if Matty can't recover through the SS to get within that DRS range again. Oh, but Tess is now losing time on Squidge and needs to close in with DRS again to keep this battle going. Mr. Wilco on the back of Noah as well. Wilco had a bad start now, doing his best to recover. In the Haas, towards the inside, towards the outside, a bit undecisive that, but he's going to get that move done under braking. I'm quite sure. I don't think Noah's going to put up too much of a fight. A lot of room left open, but gives you the inside for the next corner. That's beautifully carried around by Mr. Wilco, actually, who's going to have it when they get to the chicane. That's nice, clean racing from the both, and good overtake there from Mr. Wilco. Noah did his best to try to hang onto it through the inside of the sweeping right-hander, but it was not meant to be. As for the second Ferrari van, he is on the back of Luna. Is he maybe going to go for a little cheeky move under braking? Nah, it's a bit too far back. And things are going to remain the way they are, but he gets very close to the back of Luna under braking, actually, towards the final corner. A BT van 5.5 behind, and I believe on a starting set of medium tyres has not been a good opening 10 laps. as now the gaps are just beginning to open up a little bit. Very, very close to that 1 second gap now between Squidge and Tess, and we could have that 1 second gap as we come up to the end of Sector 1. Tess just doing everything he can probably to stay within it, and he does so. Nicely handled. And that is so crucial for Tess now, to just not lose track of Squidge. It's going to be potentially a better strategy. We'll wait and see when the rain comes. But track position could prove key around here when that rain starts to come as well. Overtaking is definitely not going to be made any easier. Let's just say that. As Matty very much on the back of him. Rain now 0.3 of a second. We could see a move go down into the last braking zone of the circuit. Here we go then, and Rainer 1.8 seconds behind Hulman, so something's gone wrong there, and Matty right on the back of the Sauber, with Djokovic not too far behind either. Could we maybe even see a double overtake here? We'll see. Djokovic is going to go for it on him. Rainer just hangs back, but Matty towards the inside of the braking zone has that move. There's a good overtake that. Jamar's making progress, gone past Luna and Noah and Mr. Wilco next in line. And Moreno's coming into the pit lane. That's early for a pit stop here. And Recon, sorry, not Recon, Wilco is out of the race. Terminal damage coming out of the final corner, and that has caused a full safety car, and that is untimely. Oh, and that is a BT losing a bit of front wing. What is going on? Speeding under the safety car for Darren Stahl. His race is going from piss poor to even worse. And I believe Beat is going to be relatively upset with, I believe that was iWatts causing him a front wing loss, and it's not repaired that damage as well. And let me tell you, that is going to be one angry Beatty with the Mercedes that was moving very, very slowly into the pit lane. That's going to be an interesting one to see how he plays out. Now when it's the question, we might be having rain on during the next 10-15 laps or so. What strategy do you go for if you're someone like a Squidge 2017 leading this race on a hard tire that's going to go a long way? Do you now maybe just risk and try to get 20 laps out on medium tires? You can't exactly bolt us at a hard zone, whilst Tess and Holman, for example, can. And this is the situation with an early safety car here. You're locking yourself a little bit by starting on the hards. J-Mas now gained a lot of positions, but if that rain actually doesn't come, then it'll be a very different situation. Everyone else on the mediums, they'll hit both on a set of hard tires and go to the end. It's not a very forgiving pit lane this either. It takes a fair bit of time. So then, as Squidge stays out, Tess goes in and tries to do something different. So hard tires are going to go on for Tess. Now is the question, how many positions are going to lose because of it? I don't think any, because everyone behind is going to be doing the same strategy. J Marvo is going to do everything he can to get out ahead of Tess, which he will. And I would imagine slow the Mercedes down to a big, big extent. Matty has stayed out on his medium tires. So that's an interesting call as well. I believe he's the only one to stay... Yeah, Matty's the only one to stay out on mediums. Tess and Holman coming in for intermediate tires. Are they coming in for... Are they going to try to survive the dry phase before it? This is a gamble. Unless they've seen spots of rain, which I haven't, then this is a gamble that could be brilliant, or it could go really, really bad. Depends on how long this safety car is, because if it's like this when it comes back in, oh, this is going to be tricky for Tess and Holman. And they're going to have to tiptoe their way around this as well, because they're on the wrong tyre compound for the track conditions as well. So they'll have to be very, very cautious. If they've timed this, though, to just when the rain comes in, then fair play to them. It'll be the strategy move of maybe the best strategy move we've ever seen in New Era. But I'd love to get an update from some other driver of when they think that rain is coming. It doesn't look like there's any rain about to fall just now. The sun's just getting through the cloud, and it's quite a bright circuit. So what they're going for is they're not going to want to lose those, say, 25 seconds for a pit stop. That's what they're opting for, not losing 25 seconds on these intermediate tyres before the track starts getting wet. The problem for them is as soon as the race gets going again, they're going to start overheating these tyres instantly. And they're going to be a big roadblock for everyone behind them. Jamar and Matty, meanwhile, are going to be pretty happy in this situation because Tess and Holman, if conditions are like this, they're not going to be able to get by them because they're not going to have any grip. But they could create quite a big gap on the restart if dry conditions apply. You see there the Hard Rock Stadium in the background. Absolutely gorgeous circuit this actually, apart from the fake marina there in the middle of your screen, which is maybe the most embarrassing thing F1 has ever done. It'd fall down to the circuit organizers probably, but it didn't get the bashing that it deserved, and it still got a right good bashing when images of that first released back in 2021, I think. And I believe I'm just now starting to see a few spots of rain on your screen, if I'm not mistaken. And if that is the case, then Tess has just played this to absolute perfection. Is that rain coming across your screen? Yeah, it is. We are starting to have rain here in the middle of the safety car phase on lap 11. And oh my goodness, Tess and Holman have timed that. Is the safety car coming in this lap? Quite a lot of people still sitting a long way behind it. Might have safety car for another lap and... oh, Jesus Christ, what a strategy call from Tess. Okay, so Squidge, Matty and Jamar are now left in a peculiar situation. Do they go into the pit lane? Yeah, they do. But they are not going to be happy with this one bit. Squidge, Matty, they're all coming in. Jamar's coming in as well. Intermediate tyres are going to go onto those Ferraris. Yeah, everyone's coming into the pit lane. So Tess and Holman now not going to have a massive advantage, but they'll have the track position. However, this has worked out okay for Squidge. It's not the massive loss that it could have been, because everyone behind him are making the same pit stops. So he's not been caught out in that way, but now he has a Mercedes of Iwat ahead of him as well. And fair play to Tess and Iwat for playing this as a team, and this will have been a communication between them. Fair play for doing so. Holman doing the same as well. Brilliant strategy call. So then, Squidge, Matty, everyone else in the intermediate is now going to have a chance to catch up. But that is Squidge losing the lead of this Grand Prix for not being as bold as Tess. And you just love to see that from a driver like Tess, in the lead of the championship with a lot to lose this race if he gets that wrong. It just plays a ball like that, and it is brilliant. As here we go, and the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. But it very much is still a dry circuit. The rain is starting to fall, but it's not quite wet yet. So these are going to be tricky racing laps for everyone on circuit. Tess is going to be commanding this restart. He's free to go whenever he pleases. There he decides to go. Holman follows him very, very well in that restart, actually, as here we go. Tess maintains the lead of the Grand Prix. Holman, now this is a situation where everyone's going to be prone to mistakes. Squidge, right on the back of Iwat immediately, but it's so hard getting the power down. It's so hard getting the cars turned in. This first lap is going to be crucial for everyone to just learn how they're going to be driving from this point onwards. But oh my goodness, is this going to be interesting for a lap or two now. Intermediate tyres on a dry track, and this is the situation now. If this rain doesn't start falling heavily in this for a couple of laps, they'll still have to come out again. It's not worth at the moment being on intermediate tyres yet. The circuit is still very, very much dry, even though there's a couple of spots of rain there. But Squidge is visually struggling with these intermediate tyres right now. Not really getting a handle of them, losing time on the leaders. Matty doing a slightly better job. DRS is going to open next lap again. He's not going to be disabled due to the current track conditions. It's a big train of cars just piling towards the final braking zone, and this is where it gets a bit scary. If someone misjudges their braking, as the Sauber does, like contact with the diffuser of the Alpine. I believe there was some rain, potentially braking a bit too late. Here we go then, DRS is enabled, yellow flags in sector 3. I believe that's one of the McLarens had a bad exit. And now overtaking at least is going to be a bit easier, but it's a sideways Mercedes coming out of turn 1. And I'd be very curious to see how much quicker soft tyres would be at this stage. The rain is coming for more than half of this Grand Prix, and it's going to be raining, but Ray has gone past Squidge then. He's still on the dry tyres. Ray has opted to stay out and do something a bit bold. He's still on medium tyres, and now is going to chase after Iwat. So if the track remains in this state for a couple of laps, then it's going to be interesting to see just how audacious Ray can be on those mediums. While Iwat is all over the place on the braking, Ray right now is going to have so much more grip, but even he is now starting to visually just struggle a little bit. The question is, are we just now right in that crossover point? You're starting to see spots of rain out on circuit, and I might have spoken too soon, because now might be the time that Ray has to come into the pit lane. It just might have switched over just then. Oh, bold braking there from Squidge, trying to go the long way round. Just preparing himself if I was braking early then. Ray's coming into the pit lane, having, I'm not going to say sacrificed his race, there's a long way to go, but having done something bold and audacious didn't really work out in the end, sadly. But I do love the attempt. But now he's going to be finding himself in plumb last at the end of this race as well, along with Darren Stahl. Whilst this is going on at the moment, Squidge is trying to find a way by Iwat, who's going to be doing his best to hold up the Ferrari. Test, meanwhile, is running away with this with Holman. They're 2.3 seconds ahead of Iwat at the moment, and Squidge will be knowing that gap by heart. As for Matty, he's actually very close to the back of Squidge now, won't hesitate to go for a little move if one opens up. Iwat's towards the inside to the braking zone. Tries to cover the Ferrari off, but he has the inside for the sweeper, and for some reason the two cars goes together. Iwat with the better line makes contact with the wall, and is that front wing damage on the Ferrari. Second time contact with the wall, just gotten away with it this time again. DRS is still activated, and here we go. Squidge is going to get by that Mercedes finally. Chase after Holman and Test to open up this race a little bit. Iwat's still gonna give it beans around the outside though. Gonna give it absolutely everything, and he's good on traction. Test coming out of that corner. He's gonna go. Oh, bit unfortunate contact there with Squidge, and Iwat reclaims the position. Here goes Squidge, then he's gonna absolutely send it in turn 1. He has to at this point. Lock in the front contact. Iwat runs into his rear, but that's maybe actually worked in Squidge's favor. And Squidge gets the position from Iwat and Matty Adam now. Bold move from Squidge that Iwat couldn't quite get it slowed down under braking. Now side by side through the SS. Iwat and Matty once again, and this is a early season throwback if he was still with us at that time. Here we go, Matty and Iwat side by side through the next couple of corners, leaving some apprentice room. It's the first time in a long time these two have done battle. And we love to see it side by side for an entire sector, but now they're holding everyone up, and Squidge is able to get away. Here we go then, free wide into the braking zone. Who's going to have to budge in that situation? You would imagine it'd be the Sauber who's going to get ran out of road. Iwat, I don't know if he kept all 4 tyres onto the circuit there, but Matty's going to hold the position by look of things heading into chicane, but everyone is running incredibly close to each other. And these are tricky conditions. JMR, 3-second time penalty, multiple track limit warnings. It's going to send him back a little bit. By the end of the race, if things stay the way they are. It's a long way to go. 4.1 second now the gap though between Squidge and Holman. Another 1.5 seconds up to Tess. And has Tess won the race with that early gamble? It's a long way to go, and everyone is going to be very cautious of making mistakes here. DRS has now been disabled, and the track by that point then has been declared fully wet. And Reina, 10-second time penalty, speeding in the pit lane. So an early pit stop for Reina. Has those intermediates taken such a battering that they need replacing already? Front wing damage for Reina. Thing is, new tires on though. Oh, it'd be interesting to see if those intermediates are going to survive the entire race length with this much running. On a dry circuit. They will have massively overheated, and now Squidge is starting to close the gap on Holman whilst Tess is still opening it. As Iwat and Djokovic go side by side. Djokovic, good in the rain, has always been, probably will always be, side by side with Iwat. Then into the braking zone, slight contact, and Noah's there as well. That got messy. A lot of contact between the pair of them. Djokovic gets by Iwat, who stays ahead of Noah, then Recon just behind them in 9th and Jamar in 10th. But now keep an eye on the sector times for Reina there in the bottom left hand of your screen. See how much that gap closes up with fresh intermediates. The Squidge is now quite rapidly actually closing on Holman, so this is going to be interesting. See if we get a bit heavy rainfall towards the end of this race as well, because right now it's just small spots and very much an intermediate track condition. As Noah is having yet another go at Iwat's around the outside of the opening straight here towards the braking zone. I was going to try to hang it down the inside, not quite going to be able to get that done. Noah goes deep, but he's got it covered off towards the final couple of corners of the exit, but there we go. Iwat's powering through and getting by on the exit of the, I'm gonna say first corner, you understand what I mean. Decent sector time so far for Reina's, closing the gap on Makis by about a second lap. So that little battle continues on. Iwat's very much under pressure now from Noah and Recon behind. Jmar's in that train as well, so say Beatty and Wigan. It's the entire midfield bunched up behind Iwat's right now. Luna's gone, well, Luna's done really well on strategy this race, up to P5 so far. And that was very, very quiet from Luna as well, somehow managing to just pick her way through and up in the 5th place without really being noticed. Well done. As here we go then, Noah on Iwat's now within a 10th of a second, but has to brake a little bit earlier, and that situation maintains. For some reasons I'm getting a yellow flag caution in sector 3 whilst everything looks green. I don't think there's any yellows out. That might just be me. As Mr. Wilco then, unfortunately, with such a good qualifying session out of this race alongside with Kit. Recon now the sole runner for Haas. Fortunate for him, he didn't get a qualifying session in because it could have been a very, very promising result this if he did. It's running well so far. So is Noah. Iwatts is doing everything he can to hold on, and now track conditions are getting significantly worse, and Squidge is within 1 second of Holman. But getting past in these conditions, that's tricky. It's very, very tricky. As I'm sure Noah is right now experiencing. Oh, that's bold from Noah. Not quite able to get by Iwatts. Braking late. Noah saw a gap open up on the inside, went for it before it was really there, committed to it. But then Iwatts shut in the middle off. That's a bit of a weird one. But Noah is not desperate driving yet, but you just see how anxious he is to get by. Somehow, I don't know how actually, but Squidge has already made it past Holman, so well done to Squidge, who's now 4.2 seconds behind the lead, and we'll see if he can start hunting down Tess. Shame we missed that little move. Here we go then, continuing on with Noah and Iwatts right now. Iwatts under massive pressure onto the final start-finish straight. Noah around the outside under braking, just brakes that a little bit late, turns in too early. Does Noah before Tess really starts turning in contact. And those little mistakes right now is what's keeping Noah behind Iwatts. It's just putting a foot wrong here and there, and Iwatts is very, very calm and collected in defense. He's taking his line and forcing Noah to react to, and it's not really the way Noah... oh, there we go, then. Sending one down the inside, and oh, that's very, very audacious in terms of leaving space. But it's not really the way Noah seems to be enjoying racing right now. As free wide into a braking zone in the wet is not a particularly interesting situation. Recon though is going to say thank you very much. Noah going to try yet again around the outside of Iwatts. Oh, and for some reason decides to go down the inside there. That was a gap that was always going to close. And Noah doing everything he can to just get by Iwatts. Driving desperate right now is Noah. And maybe too aggressively, because he's going for gaps that is always going too close. As Holman is struggling in this wet weather, now Matty up into a podium place, and it's actually doing very well to stick with Squidge, who is not able to close in on Tess, who's gone away with the lead of this Grand Prix by 5 seconds now, and is opening that gap even further on Squidge. Noah now past the Mercedes of Iwatts, who might have a cheeky little look down the inside of turn 1. No, not quite. Let's see then if Iwatts, he had the pace to stay ahead of Noah. Does he have the pace to stick with him in these wet conditions? Very, very cautious on the throttle is Iwatts. Not feeling a lot of grip in that Mercedes. So Mercedes 1-9 at the moment, then Noah 3. Second time from the multiple track limit warnings. Now Jamar lining it up behind Iwatts, next in line to have a go, and Iwatts is doing non-stop defending right now and non-stop attacking. It's 8 attempts now behind Noah though, so consider that battle on hold for the time being if nothing else. Another driver right now doing non-stop defending is Holman, who doesn't really seem to be enjoying this wet weather too much. Now Luna very much on the back of the Aston Martin and might have a little go into the final corner. It all depends on the exit. Luna, good exit that, and now getting a massive run on Holman, who doesn't really seem to have any straight line speed whatsoever. It's a very draggy car that, because Jockfix right there immediately as well, and could actually go for a move under braking, but doesn't. Luna then up to a season best 4th place for her. See if she can maintain that gap and that position. Now 1.5 behind Matty. Matty, who's within a second of Squidge. So well done Matty Adam, who's doing everything he can. Iwatts is still defending away from Jamar at the moment. He's closed the gap slightly Noah by a 10th of a second. But here goes Jamar down the inside. And is he going to get by on the first go? Yeah, he is. So Jamar doing that significantly more effective, and Noah's able to, and is now free to chase after his rival from last season. If I'm not mistaken, former teammate as well. I could be, it's been a while. As Wigan now on the fringes of the points as well, still saying yellow flag up in my top left corner, which is really annoying because my eye just draws to that every now and a bit. So Luna's past Holman, now it's Djokovic's turn to go past the Aston Martin up into the top 5. Running a clean race so far is Djokovic for his first points of the season and get this through. It'll be a 10 points at the moment secured for Djokovic. But now Squidge is starting to close in a little bit on Tess, as he maybe just found some sort of setting that's working a bit for him. He's closing by, oh, almost looks like a 10th corner. So what has changed then for Squidge? The gap that was 5 seconds a lap or two ago now sits at 3.6 with 7 laps to go. So they're running out of time here is the thing though. Squidge needs to relatively rapidly start closing in on Tess. Or as Tess just made a silly little mistake at one point or another, which Squidge has been able to gain a bit of time on. We may never know. Recon is actually doing a mega job right now, sitting in P7, 2 seconds ahead of anyone else, so that might be his finishing position. Just keep a clean race. Iwat's meanwhile, as Noah's coming into the box. Quite late on, and if everyone needs to box, this is a smart move. If no one needs to, then does he have front wing damage? No front wing damage, but full wet tires on for Noah. Yeah, the rain is intensifying. The wet tires is quite drastic. But if Noah gets this right, then he could be in for a very, very good increase in pace. What is Ray currently on? He's on intermediates. Yeah, pitted early, but couldn't really go on to anything else. And is that the reason why Tess is now starting to struggle a little bit? The rain is intensifying. It could be a reason why, but it's possible to tell. So, I mean, there's still a lot of racing to do. 3 seconds separate the top 2, 4 seconds separate the top 3. Luna 1.2 behind, not out of the conversation for what I believe is her first podium in NEF1. So Noah then, how is life on the wet tires treating him? Is it a gamble that's going to pay off? Or is it not? Championship lead. At the moment he's keeping pace with Macus, but only a couple of laps to go. You would think that no one really would give it the gamble to go onto wets, even if really necessary at this point. Just stick it out on those inters and make the most of it. Tell you what though, Matt is getting increasingly closer to Squidge. People are now coming into box. Both Iwat and Wigan going on to wet tires, you would imagine as well. Yeah, the rain is increasing. Is it worth the gamble on a new set of wets though? So this will be interesting. Noah, how much time is he gained on someone like Iwat? A little bit, but not a concerning amount yet. Gain about a second 3. As the gap between the leaders decreased further, it's now down to 2.5 seconds. This pace, we might just have a little cheeky go at the end of a race. The last lap or two could see a battle for the win. Squidge with 1 win this season, Undertech with 1, Matty losing 1 in heartbreaking fashion last week out, and Tess leading the championship of 2 consistent P2s is going to be itching for that first W of the year. How are the wet runners getting on? The track doesn't look quite wet enough for the full wets yet. And the big gain is from this, really, Ray, Jamar and Beatty up into the points now as well. Mac is not far off the points, but is 8 seconds off the next car ahead. 2.1 seconds now, the gap between leaders, and this is heating up. So we're going to see a battle for the win late on here. 2.1, 2.2 seconds, hovering thereabout, but Tess is losing time primarily in Sector 1. So Squidge has been able to find something with his car. So has Matty to just make him that bit quicker. The Tess just, at the moment in the wet, isn't able to do. I'm telling you, it's no easy job keeping your car in a straight line around this place of all places. That final corner in the wet is so incredibly treacherous. Here we go then, out of the exit. Does Squidge take a bit more out of Tessa's lead? Just about 100, just a couple of hundreds. But he is making progress. Through that final corner in the first sector, I think I've pinned it down to, is the place where those moves start happening. Noah, 2.7 seconds behind Mac is now, and there's a chance for points, but it's looking bleak for him by making that maybe a bit premature pit stop. The thing is, Squidge is gaining all his time through Sector 1, but he can't exactly get by that, so where's the question? Is he going to be able to actually overtake Tess? Didn't really find it easy to do so the first time around, and that was with DRS assistance under dry conditions. I can't see forcing Tess into a mistake, even on wet tires, is an option. 3.5 laps to go then. The gap remains at 2.3 actually, so it's slightly just increased, and I believe that might have been what Tess just needed to hold on to this. We'll wait and see. No real battles going on right now. And Reina's race got ruined there with the front wing damage, sitting all the way back in 15th place. So that is a very, very unfortunate situation for Reina. Was on for some good points, but all just came crashing it down with potentially the slightest bit of contact. And now Tess, 2.6 seconds ahead, now has found something to just be able to pull away a little bit, or if he's been taking it just slightly easy on his tires for a few laps. 26 out of 29, then on to lap 27. By that point will be 3 laps to go. Matty now is going to be really starting to push, try to overtake Squidge. Maybe realizing that he's not going to be able to catch up to Tess and making it a three-way battle. So, and the gap's just going up and down as well, but Tess right now maintaining a healthy lead, 2 seconds, enough for just that one mistake to just recover it if need be. So it's a good advantage maintained by Tess, just now breaking into 1 second, but just inside it. Matty though, increasingly, but noticeably closer to Squidge. 3-second time penalty to Darren Stahl for corner cutting. I would imagine that might have been through the chicane by looking at the track map. And looking at the wet tyre gamble from Noah Iwat and Wigan doesn't really seem to be paying off. Noah unable to make any progress on Marcus, who is still on that intermediate. And they'll lose out on points today due to that gamble. And let me tell you, Recon, Ray, Jamer and Beatty are going to be thanking them after this race. So a lot of points gained there for especially Ray, who got promoted 2-3 places just due to the gamble. Ray actually did a very, very big gamble early on in the Grand Prix to actually stay out on the mediums, hoping it would work out a bit better than it did when the rain started falling. He's recovered beautifully to P8, so good ride that from Ray 25. Here we go then, Matty now for the first time really within touching distance of Squidge for this stint. Squidge is not able to lose any more championship points to Tess in the battle really realistically this early on. It will already be a swing of about 7 points in Tess's favour. Matty aiming to make that a 10-point swing in Tess's favour to start just closing the gap to the front guys just that little bit. Matty trying to more than double his points tally for the season. Is he going to be able to pull a little move? Cheeky perhaps into the braking zone, but nah, it's not close enough, and this is overtaking the wet. It is so difficult. Djokovic now right on the back of Luna as well to try to get into the top 4. Recon is on the back of Holman. Holman has been struggling in the wet, 13 seconds behind Djokovic. Recon's now gone to him. See if he can pull off a move late on here in this race. As towards the braking zone with Matty Adam 98 versus Squidge 2017, not close enough as of yet, and now they're running out of time. We have one racing lap to go, and Tess, all he has to do now is just keep it clean, and that race win is coming. Squidge would have loved about 5 more laps, you reckon, in order to really put pressure on Tess. He'll be feeling it now, is Tess, but he should be able to just carry it over the line without letting the commentator's curse on anyone. Matty versus Squidge though is another battle entirely. These two, just a week ago, were in a similar situation when Matty was hunting down Squidge on the last lap of this Grand Prix. And now we have a McLaren in the wall. Yellow flags is not going to trigger a safety car, but Darren losing it on his final go at it. Now then, Matty and Squidge, they were in a similar position 1 week ago. It ended in heartbreak for both. Squidge, contact and into the wall. No points scored, almost 4 points scored I believe in the end. Matty wasn't able to make anything of it. Now, is Matty going to be able to make anything of the braking zone into the second sector? No, he's not, but he's going to have one more go at this with a good run coming out of the half and give it absolutely everything he's got. Squidge will know that Matty's now just going to dump his entire battery as well. It's all going to come down to this test. All he has to do is get one more acceleration and braking point right, and he will be a race winner once again in season 10 this time. But Matty Adam is maybe just a bit too far back to have a go with Squidge. He's gonna try, he's gonna send something audacious maybe under the braking. He's not gonna be able to, and now it just comes down to the exit. Tess has been losing just a bit of time steadily through this Grand Prix, but he just manages to hang on. It's a first win of the season for Tess, who extends the championship lead. Squidge finishes 1.5 tenths of a second ahead of Matty Adam, who grabs the first podium of the season in third. Djokovic finishes in fourth place. It's good 12 points going home to Williams. It's their first points of the season, with Luna in fifth, the season best result, and I believe her first points this season as well. Holman finishing in sixth, with Ray up into seventh place. A good race ran by Ray, who got past Recon on the last lap. P8 for Recon, then P9 for J-Mart, and P10, and first points of the season for Mr. A. Beatty. Macus just finishing outside in P11. Noah, Iwat, and Wigan doing a gamble on wet tyres. Didn't work out, finishing outside the points, and then Brainer coming through for P15. Darren, Mr. Wilco, and Kit unable to finish this race. But it is redemption day for Tess around Miami, a track that I'm sure he was cursing last time we went racing here. It's redemption day as well for Matty Adam, who now, 3 races in, picks up his first podium of the season, and now is hopefully going to be able to build a bit of momentum going forwards. And I must say, it is all down to one brilliant strategy call from Tess as well. Remember, Squidge had this race firmly in his hand until the rain started falling. The safety car came out. Tess played a gamble, but it massively paid off. Good job from Tess, who outsmarts Squidge here in Miami to extend the championship lead further. Fastest lap goes to Squidge, but no points awarded for fastest lap anymore. It's a brilliant race here around Miami. Right, next week on then, we're not going to be going too far. We're going to be staying in the same country, but we are heading to the streets of Las Vegas for the Las Vegas Street Circuit. And oh my goodness, could that be an interesting one. We won't have any rain there, I can almost guarantee you that. What I can guarantee you, though, is we will be having 2 pit stops for every single driver on the field. It's a mandatory 2 pit stopper, no 1 stops allowed, even if it is possible, as with this game usually isn't. We'll wait and see. Until then, congratulations once again to Tess, who extends his championship lead. Squidge does his best to try to stick with him, but he quite can't. He defended very well, though, when Matty started to put the pressure on him. Matty with his first podium of the season. We'll see you in 7 days' time when NEF1 returns. Until then, stay safe, have a good one, and peace out.